Hello, I'm Dr. Ben Keller, and in the next 8 minutes or so, I'll share with you some critical connections between sleep, significant health concerns, populations most at risk, and 10 strategies you can use to improve the quality of your sleep and hopefully avoid or mend a broken heart. Dissertation is called Sleeping Your Way to Better Heart Health. It is submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirements for Nursing 551 Health Promotion with Dr. Susan Purton, July 20th, 2025 at Colorado State University, Pueblo. Perhaps my favorite sleep advice of all time came from my grandfather, Grandpa Wally, when I was about 12 years old. He said, Sonny, you can buy any car to get you from point A to point B, but buy the best mattress you can afford because you'll spend a third of your life in it. Now, my grandfather wasn't a man of significant economic means by any stretch of the imagination, but he always owned a good mattress and, come to think of it, a not so good car. But he wasn't wrong. 35 years later, and we humans still spend approximately 30% of our lives sleeping. But what about those of us who have poor sleep quality? Belabored sleep onset, insomnia, obstructive sleep apnea. Those working night shift and swing shift. Is the $2 shift differential really worth the negative effects on the heart and an increased risk of cancer? Wait, cancer? Cancer. Yes, heart disease, cancer, poor sleep quality has been tied to many health conditions, including increased neurological risks such as stroke, dementia, and motor vehicle accidents due to drowsy driving. There have been increased cardiovascular risks such as hypertension, coronary artery disease, heart failure, arrhythmias, and arterial stiffness, and increased endocrine issues such as inflammation, obesity, diabetes, and yes, cancer, and especially breast cancer due to the endocrine functions of sleep. Many of these maladies are mingled and comorbid. For example, obesity increases intrathoracic pressures, and the size of the tongue increases the risk of sleep apnea. Sleep apnea increases the risk of poor sleep, hypoxia, and atrial fibrillation or AFib. Poor sleep and hypoxia increase the risk of hypertension and inflammation, and hypertension and inflammation increase the risk of endocrine disorders, including diabetes, kidney failure, and obesity. So they're all mixed together and comorbid. Dr. Jean Louis said, it used to be that the attitude in the medical field was that if you have a heart problem, you have to take care of that. If you have high blood pressure or diabetes, that must be treated. But if you say you couldn't sleep, that's not going to kill anybody. Well, that's not really true. Healthy People 2030 has as one of its goals to track and increase the number of adults who get sufficient sleep, in part because of the significant impacts poor sleep length and quality have been shown to have on poor health outcomes. And as a country, when it comes to sleep, we're not doing well. Data from Healthy People 2030 has shown that in 2020, 73.3% of American adults surveyed got sufficient sleep. 2 years later, in 2022, this number dropped almost 3.5% to 69.9%, and that's not trending in a good direction. Let's take a look at those social determinants of health, or those who are at the greatest risk of poor sleep quality and the negative effects thereof. Those abusing substances, especially smokers and those abusing alcohol, are at higher risk of poorer sleep, as well as those with comorbid factors such as obesity. Those who live with lower social economic status are at higher risks, as well as those living in cities and higher crime rates. Being female, Black, or Hispanic also increases your risk of having a poor night's rest and related outcomes. Work factors include those who are unemployed, as they tend to get poor sleep, as do shift workers such as first responders and nurses. In fact, shift workers like this guy are an increased risk for an especially nasty type of disorder called, are you ready for it? Shift work sleep disorder. I'm talking to you, swing and night shifts. Sleep work sleep disorder occurs when your internal clock doesn't match your time clock at work. It's marked by excessive sleepiness, insomnia, fatigue, poor mental performance. Night workers get some 15 minutes to 2 hours less shut-eye than their day shift counterparts. In a 2018 study of nurses in India, 83% had mild shift work sleep disorder and 17% had moderate sleep work shift disorder. We're also seeing signs of poor health and higher rates of ulcers, sleepiness, accidents, needle stick injuries, increased absenteeism, depression, and illness due to lower immunity. Poor sleep quality has been shown to cause a loss of productivity through poor concentration, increased healthcare costs due to increased rates of accidents, illnesses, heart disease, and cancer, and shortened life expectancy of employees through major risk factors such as metabolic syndrome, increased rates of cancer, and heart disease. What are some system strategies for addressing poor sleep quality in our workplaces? I'm talking to you right now, management. The first is consistency in scheduling. Reduce the number of shift changes so it's easier for people to adapt. Work with employees to support their family obligations and special events, and offer them things like EAP, a quiet place for a short nap, and consider reducing the length of night shifts. In all, try to reduce the stress in their environment. So what are some things that you can do? On a personal level, you can build some resiliency through these 10 strategies from our research and from Kiki Eli. And who's Kiki? Well, she literally wrote the book on sleep. It will put you to sleep. Wait, is that a good thing? Anyway, sleep in a cool, dark place. A cool room, fan with air movement, and try white noise, blackout curtains, and aromatherapy. Try earplugs and a sleep mask. Eat a healthy diet, drink plenty of fluids, limit added sugar, red meat, alcohol, tobacco, and other pro-inflammatories. Avoid using alcohol as a sleep aid. Get regular exercise. Banish blue light, TVs, and other screens from your bedroom. Journal your feelings. Reach out to EAP and your doctor for assistance in sleeping. Try a different shift or a different job if nights are a struggle. And my grandfather's advice, buy a good mattress. You'll spend a third of your life laying on it. So let's summarize what we learned in 5 quick bullet points. Number 1, poor sleep quality is correlated to lots of nasty problems such as obesity, cancer, and many types of heart disease. Number 2, those with lower social economic status, women, minorities, and shift workers are at a higher risk of complications. Number 3, shift work sleep disorder occurs when your body's internal clock and your work schedule are not in sync. It increases the risks of accidents, poor decision making, and adverse health outcomes. Number 4, employers can help their employees by reducing the length of shifts, minimizing stress, and promoting a better work-life balance. And number 5, you learned 10 ways to get better sleep, including exercise, diet, and Grandpa Wally's advice of buying a good mattress. So, night shift, is it worth it? That's your call, but this particular heart patient is going to day shift. Thanks for joining me. I invite you to look through these resources on sleep. Learn more about it. They might put you to sleep. Thanks for joining me.